Welcome back. Okay, so you sent us this fascinating stack of sources all about Antarctica. Today, we're going to dive right in, try and pull out the key stuff, maybe some surprising facts too. Our goal really is just to leave you feeling like you've got a solid handle on this, well, this incredible frozen continent. All right, let's dig in. So when you think Antarctica, the first thing is cold, right? I mean, that's probably putting it mildly. Our sources, yeah, they definitely confirm it's Earth's coldest, driest, and windiest continent. And it has the highest average elevation, too.
Yeah.
But they really hammer home just how brutal it is.
Oh, absolutely. What's truly astonishing, I think, is just the sheer scale of that extremity. We're talking recorded temperatures, get this, down to minus 89.2 degrees Celsius.
Minus 89.2.
Yeah, that's minus 128.6 Fahrenheit. Recorded at Vostok Station, that's a Russian research base, famous for its ice core drilling, pulling up ancient climate data. And in the interior, winter temperatures, they often hover below minus 60 Celsius. And here's the kicker. Despite all that ice, it's technically a polar desert. It gets so little precipitation. It's incredibly dry. It's actually hard to wrap your head around.
A dry ice cube. That is, yeah, that's a contradiction. So beyond the extreme climate, what other basic facts should we know?
Well, thinking about the bigger picture, its size, it's just colossal. Roughly 14 million square kilometers.
Okay, how big is that compared to, say, Europe?
Good question. It's about 1.3 times larger than all of Europe.
Woo!
Yeah. And maybe one of the most sort of unique things about it, no permanent human residence, none.
Right.
You'll find maybe 1,000 to 5,000 people there at any given time, researchers, support staff living temporarily. They're spread across about 70 research stations like McMurdo, that's the big U.S. one, and India's Matri Station, among others.
That makes total sense given the conditions you just described.
Yeah.
But, the biggest sort of aha moment for me reading through these sources was that no single country actually owns Antarctica.
Exactly. And that's fascinating, isn't it? It raises this really important question. How does a whole continent operate without a government or owner?
Yeah.
It works through something called the Antarctic Treaty System. It was first signed back in 1959, initially by just 12 countries. Now there are over 50 nations involved. And this treaty, it's not just some dusty legal document. It's kind of a revolutionary experiment in, well, international cooperation.
Okay.
It basically dedicates the entire continent to peaceful purposes only. Military activity, banned. Nuclear tests, banned. Mineral mining, also banned. But it strongly encourages scientific collaboration. It's really a blueprint for managing a global commons, And that's key to its role in the world.
That really is a model. So speaking of its scale, the ice, the numbers are just mind-boggling. Sources say 98% of Antarctica is ice-covered.
That's right, 98%. And that ice holds about 60% of all the Earth's fresh water. Just think about that.
60%?
Yeah. And the implication there is, well, it's profound. If all that Antarctic ice melted, global sea levels would rise by roughly 60 meters. That's about 200 feet.
Good grief.
It's home to these enormous glaciers, vast ice shelves floating on the sea, and even hidden lakes under the ice, like Lake Vostok.
The glacial lake.
Exactly. Lake Vostok is this ancient, totally isolated body of water. Scientists think it could harbor unique life forms, maybe giving us clues about life on other planets, astrobiology.
It's not just ice and rock, though, is it? I mean, what about life?
Sure.
Does anything actually live there?
Oh, absolutely. It might seem barren, but it's teeming with life, especially in and around the ocean. Now, you won't find native land mammals or reptiles or amphibians. The conditions are just too harsh.
Right.
But you do find species incredibly adapted to the cold. Think penguins, emperors, and adelies are the classic ones.
Yeah.
Seals, Weddell seals, leopard seals, whales like humpbacks and orcas, and birds like skuas and petrels that fly overhead. On the land itself, plant life is really limited. You get some hardy mosses, lichens, algae in the slightly less extreme spots. It's a real testament to survival.
Okay, now for some of those details that honestly just blew my mind reading these sources, the kind of fun facts, right? Antarctica has no time zone.
Isn't that wild?
How does it even work?
Well, the different research stations, they just tend to follow the time zone of their home country or maybe the supply base they rely on, like in New Zealand or Chile.
So coordinating anything must be interesting.
Definitely adds a layer of complexity. And here's another one. It has active volcanoes. Mount Erebus is one, and it's one of the southernmost active volcanoes on Earth.
An active volcano and all that ice.
Yep, and maybe even stranger. There are parts of Antarctica, these places called the dry valleys, that apparently haven't seen rain or snow for nearly 2 million years.
2 million years. Dry valleys. Surrounded by ice. That's incredible. So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, our listener? We've kind of zipped through the extreme climate, the unique way it's governed, those massive ice sheets, the surprisingly tough wildlife, and even weird stuff like having no time zone.
Yeah, I think the key takeaway for you is seeing Antarctica not just as this, remote frozen wasteland. It's actually a crucial hub for global science.
Hmm.
And it's a powerful example of peaceful international cooperation working, which is pretty rare. Plus, understanding that vast ice, it holds immense implications for our planet's future, impacting climate, sea levels, everything really.
Definitely. And maybe here's a final thought to leave you with. We talked about the Antarctica.